Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We are talking Wednesday, June 25th. The Dong Report is back in your life, and I'm going to go back to the spray the board tactic for today because there were a couple juicy weather plus pitching matchups or both that I did want to dive into. So I do have a little bit of a bigger card today. We're going to talk about all of that, but before we do, let's recap yesterday, which was tough. I didn't love the slate yesterday, so I played it a little bit light. I did really like these three, so I'm not going to come here after the fact and pretend that I tried to force these and I didn't even like these plays. No, I really liked all three of them. None of them came to fruition. 0 for 3 yesterday, down 0.75 units. We're still working our way to get back to green on the year, but we're on a nice run taking out yesterday. Saturday was amazing. Friday and Sunday were just okay, and then Monday was amazing. So hopefully we can go back to our winning ways from the last couple days as opposed to what happened yesterday. But down about just over 4.5 units on the year, down about 5% ROI on the year. If you're following my unit size guiding, if you're putting 1 unit on every single play, you are slightly in the green just based on how the odds and the unit sizes worked and stuff like that. So been a mediocre season on the whole. It's been very, very streaky. Amazing highs, amazing lows. Let's hope we can get another high today. So we can get into it. In terms of today's weather report, again, a little bit of a disagreement between Ballpark Pal and Weather Edge. So there wasn't quite the incredible weather games like over the weekend going on today. The best game of the day by far is this game here at Great American Ballpark. Plus 37 from a home run perspective, according to Ballpark Pal. Plus 22 according to, plus 22 from a stadium perspective, plus 15 from a weather perspective. So this is one of those games where you're really going to want to target a couple batters, which is what I did. And then there was some disagreement on a couple ones. Ballpark Pal likes the Angels and this White Sox game. Weather Edge does not. Weather Edge really likes this Detroit game. Ballpark Pal does not. And then they both kind of like this this Orioles-Rangers game. So, again, nothing quite as good as what it was over the weekend, but still good. There's still some good games to target. So, with that thought in mind, the first 2 plays that I'm locking in here are Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Trent Grisham. I'm taking both of them to hit a home run. The odds on Grisham are a little bit stinky at plus 285, and then Chisholm, you can get plus 330 at Fanatics. So those are the 2 best offered prices there. The biggest thing here is Brady Singer is on the mound for the Reds, and he is somebody that you want to target with left-handed batters against him. He's significantly worse against lefties. On the entire year, home run every 25 or so at bats against lefties. That's not terrible generally. You want that number to be below 20, so 25, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good. But against righties, it's all the way up to 65. And you can see the dramatic difference in his splits going from righties to lefties, right? We see the barrel rate, hard hit rate, line drive rate, fly ball rate. All those numbers go significantly up when he's facing a lefty. And the 2 biggest home run pitches for him are the sinker and the slider. Now, the sinker is what he throws predominantly. And the best numbers against the sinker is actually Ben Rice. He has terrible odds. He's like plus 210 to hit a home run. So I'm taking some pretty low odds with these guys, but I just could not fathom taking plus 210 for Ben Rice. So if you don't care about that, then go ahead and add Ben Rice to my list. I'm not betting that. It's just too low. But Jazz Chisholm has really good numbers against the sinker. 13% barrel rate, 80% hard hit rate, 20% fly ball rate. You go over his numbers, you see a lot of green, 102 off the bat, 110, 96, 101, 110, 104, 95, 104. So we see some pretty good numbers. He does strike out a decent amount, but that's okay because he's swinging for the fences. And then Trent Grisham has okay numbers against the sinker from righties. He hasn't hit a home run. 8% barrel rate is not terrible. Just under 50% hard hit rate is not terrible. The fly ball rate is definitely low. I will admit that. But he's been a little bit better recently in terms of putting the ball in the air. 26-degree launch angle is pretty good. 25-degree launch angle is pretty good. All those were hit in June. And then against the slider, is, again, Ben Rice is among the best. So another good look for Ben Rice. But Jazz Chisholm strikes out a lot against the slider, but he does barrel it up a decent amount. And then Grisham, not amazing numbers against the slider. But both of them have been hitting well recently, which is part of the reason why I'm on this one. So it's not just a pitch mix type thing. I want to be very clear. They're also both hitting the ball pretty well. Hard hits, Trent Grisham, 14, 3 barrels. Jazz Chisholm, 13, 2 barrels. But then over the last 7 days, it's a little bit better. Grisham, 8 hard hits, and then Jazz, also 8 hard hits. So it's a little bit better for them recently. And then the stadium and the pitching matchup is really good. And the last thing that I want to highlight here before we move on is if you look at Brady Singer's last 5 starts, you're going to see, oh, he hasn't really given up that many home runs. Only 1 to a lefty in his 69 at-bats, which is a very nice number. Look at these numbers across the board. Really, really, really bad. 13% barrel rate, 56% hard hit rate, 33% line drive rate, and 26% fly ball rate. Those are terrible numbers across the board. So just the fact that he hasn't given up a home run or given up 1 home run in his last 5 starts does not make me think anything like he's been pitching well, because all these numbers are terrible. So that's plays number 1 and 2, Jazz Chisholm and Trent Grisham. Next up, I'm taking Corey Seager to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 320 odds, 320 at bet365. Corey Seager, taking him to hit a home run. You know, he's been kind of in and out of the lineup with the hamstring injury, but if you look at him recently, so he returned, I guess he missed a couple days. He returned, there you go, May 28th. His hard hits were kind of hit or miss since he returned, but since really the 17th, so the last 8 days, he's been hitting the ball pretty hard, and the launch angle has been better. I mean, 3 hard hits yesterday, 11-degree launch angle is not terrible. None the day before that, but then 3 hard hits, 2 hard hits with a 23-degree launch angle, 2 barrels is really good. 2 hard hits, 22-degree launch angle is really good. So, you know, the home runs haven't quite been there for him. I mean, he hit one back on 620, but then he went a ton of games without hitting a home run. He is back to hitting the ball well, so I do like that. It's a good stadium and weather perspective for a home run. A Weather Edge really likes this one. 45% home run differential. Ballpark Pal is not quite as high, but they still think that it is a positive game for home runs, both from a weather and a stadium perspective. And Oriole Park is a park you want to target lefties. They have a very short right field, so a lefty pull hitter like Corey Seager is going to have more success than a righty. You can see the dramatic difference between right field and left field. For someone like Corey Seager, a left-handed batter, that's generally what you're looking for. Is somebody at the Orioles ballpark. So I do think that we're getting a little bit of a good value on Seager. I mean, 3 hard hits yesterday. None of them were considered a barrel, but we know that he's capable of doing it, and he's been putting the ball in the air a little bit recently. So I do think that we're getting a nice play on him. The pitcher Brandon Young hasn't pitched since April, so you take it with a grain of salt, but he got hit up when he did. I'm not going to dive too much into the pitching matchup because he might only go 3 innings. This is more so just backing a batter in a good situation. That's play number 3. Next up, I got 2 guys on the Angels. I'm taking Joe Adele to hit a home run, and I'm taking Logan O'Hoppe to hit a home run. The biggest thing for them is they're going up against Richard Fitz, a.k.a. Dick Fitz, who is an absolute dong baller. So this is one where the weather is hit or miss. Like Ballpark Pal likes it, plus 11%. Granted, it's more so the stadium they like from a home run perspective. So from a weather, it's more so neutral. And then there is some agreement there. Weather Edge also has it as basically neutral. So really nothing there from a weather perspective, but it's the pitching matchup. So you look at the 2 Angels guys. O'Hoppe is 325 at Bet365, and Adele is 350 at both FanDuel and Bet365. Now, I like Zachary Sharknado, but he's probably not going to play today. And then Trout, the odds are a little bit too stinky, and he also hasn't been hitting as well recently. You look at his last 3 games, 1 hard hit between the 3 of them, which is not somebody that you should completely avoid, but not somebody that I really am comfortable taking plus 260 odds against. And Dick Fitz, you know, he's got an awesome name. He's also a huge home run guy. I mean, he hasn't pitched a ton this year specifically, but when he has gotten rocked. I mean, 3 home runs in 3.7 innings is terrible. All these numbers, I mean, they are red for a reason. It looks like a massacre when you look at Dick Fitz's stats here on Game Day Insights. So, I mean, the 4-seam fastball, the slider is what gets punished. And then you look at these guys on the Angels. Both, I mean, O'Hoppe went on a pretty pronounced cold streak and then finally came out of it. So he hit, I think, 3 home runs in 2 games heading into yesterday. Nobody on the Angels hit well yesterday, but Garrett Crochet pitched, so you can forgive them for that. But you look at the Angels here, you look at the last 7 days in terms of hard hits. Now, Nato's number 1. Unfortunately, he's not playing. Adele's number 2 with 10 and 4 barrels. That's really good. Now, O'Hoppe is lower. But again, you look at him recently, and you see a guy that's starting to barrel the ball up more recently. I mean, 3 straight games with a barrel, 3 hard hits, 1 barrel, 1 hard hit, 1 barrel, 1 hard hit, 1 barrel. So he's got an excellent situation against a absolute dong ball type of pitcher. And Adele's been red hot. I mean, he hit a home run in 3 straight games. He's even been hot after that. 10 hard hits, 4 barrels over the last 14 days. He's got 14 hard hits and 6 barrels over the last 14 days. 6 barrels is very impressive. So they have a phenomenal matchup against Mr. Dick Fitz, who is lit up like a Christmas tree. 2 guys that are hitting the ball well. So that is play, I forget what number, but those are my next 2 plays. And then I also have 2 plays in this Tigers versus Athletics game. 1 player on each team. So we'll start with Wenceel Perez. We're taking him to hit a home run. He is offered at a pretty good price at plus. It's actually, yeah, there we go. Plus 600 at FanDuel is a pretty good price on him. Now, Ballpark Pal doesn't like this game from a home run perspective. They don't like Comerica Park, which is the biggest issue here, which makes sense because they have a really deep center field. So anybody that hits the ball to center is not going to have very much fun doing so. But if you pull it, it's a little bit better. Like you see the outfields are actually slightly above average, especially right field today with winds blowing to right field. The biggest thing here is the pitcher for the Athletics, Jacob Lopez. He strikes out a lot of guys. He also gets hit really hard. Looking at his last 5 starts, he's allowed a home run every 18 at-bats. That's not great. Against righties, it's basically the same thing, every 18 at-bats. So he hasn't seen a ton of lefties. The ones that he had, I mean, in 17 at-bats, 1 home run is pretty bad. But you look at his numbers against righties. Strikeout rate is high. It's high against both. But the barrel rate is decent, but the hard hit rate, line drive rate, and these two is the biggest thing. Line drive plus fly ball rate are both really, really high. And you look at the Tigers, you want to look at who's been hitting lefties really well. Wenceel Perez has been annihilating left-handed pitching. Now, it's a small sample size because he was just recently called up, but he has been absolutely destroying left-handed pitching. I mean, the ISO rate of 667 is ridiculous. Barrel rate of 28% is also ridiculous. Jahmai Jones has a lot. The plate appearances are about the same, but Jahmai Jones doesn't play all the time, so his numbers are a little bit more wonky. But Wenceel Perez has been hitting the ball really well. You go to the Tigers, looking at the same report here, last 7 days, last 14 days. Hard hits, he has 14 over the last 2 weeks, but 5 barrels. So those barrel numbers are really good. And then over the last 7 days, he's got 1 barrel, which isn't great, 7 hard hits. But the Tigers had pretty good days at the plate yesterday, especially Wenceel Perez. They both hit the crap out of the baseball yesterday. And you see the Jahmai Jones, the other guy, 3 hard hits. He just doesn't have a ton of plate appearances. But Wenceel Perez against lefties is really good. And then what I also like, fly ball rate 41%, pull rate 50%. So he's capable of hitting the ball in the air and then also pulling it, which is really important at a stadium like the Tigers Stadium. So that's why I like Wenceel Perez. It's what he does against lefties. And then he also hits four-seam fastball as well, which is the home run pitch for Jacob Lopez. You look at the four-seamer, we're looking at the last month really, which is when Wenceel Perez really started, and we're looking against lefties. And I mean, 23% barrel rate, 71% hard hit rate, 57% fly ball rate. Granted, he strikes out a lot. That's over the last month. You look at the last 2 months, and those numbers are still really good across the board. Actually, he's only been up for a month, so those are the same. But we see really good numbers for him. Gleyber Torres is the other guy that I considered in this one. He also hit the ball well, but he hasn't been hitting lefties as well recently. Like the last month for him isn't as good. So it's one of those things where you look at a bigger sample size or a smaller sample size. But if it was a better weather game, I would have sprayed the board more with Gleyber Torres. But because it's not, you don't want to take a bunch of guys in the same game. So I'm going with one on each team. The other guy that I mentioned Nick Kurtz. The biggest thing here is he is a lefty, so you get the benefit of the winds blowing out to left field. He hits four-seam fastballs really, really well. And Jack Flaherty, he's got good stuff, but he misses a lot on his four-seamer, and they can get hit up by lefties. Now, he's admittedly been worse against righties recently. Home run every 17 at-bats to righties, every 31 over the last 5 weeks. You look at the entire year, and we want to look at the year, and it's actually every 17 at-bats to lefties, every 22 to righties. So it's kind of hit or miss depending on what you look at, but definitely nobody to be scared of. And I did want to go with a lefty in this game because you get the advantage with the winds blowing to right field. And I also wanted to go with somebody that hits fastballs really well, which is Nick Kurtz. He has really good numbers against the four-seamer. Now, he strikes out a lot. Let's go to a bigger sample size than 6 at-bats. But over the last 2 months, 204 at-bats, 16% barrel rate, 62% hard hit rate, and 62% fly ball rate. Those numbers are very important, hitting the ball hard and putting the ball in the air. Strikes out a lot, but that's okay because he swings for the fences. So he'll probably strike out twice. He'll also probably hit a home run off of Jack Flaherty's four-seamer. That is my 7th play. Now, the last one that I have here is Nick Castellanos. We're taking him to hit a home run. He has offered at a pretty good price. And then Kurtz was $575 at Bet365. I'm not sure why those odds aren't pulling here, but I promise you it's $575 at Bet365. And then Castellanos is $475 at Fanatics. The thing with Casty, he has been actually hitting the ball really well, which is funny because Castellanos isn't really somebody that generally racks up a ton of hard hits. He had 3 yesterday. You look at him, he leads the Phillies in barrels over the last week. He's tied with the most hard hits over the last week with 9. You look at the last 14 days, he still leads the Phillies in terms of barrels, and he's got 16 hard hits, which is not amazing. It's not like Trey Turner, who's got 20, but it's fine. Fly ball rate and pull rate both above 40%, which is good. And for Casty, you go back to even prior to 2 weeks, like it really starts on the 9th. So it's the past, 17, 18 days when he's really started to barrel the ball up well. So you go to 6-9. Shout out to him for starting hot, getting hot on 6-9. It's 9 barrels, 22% barrel rate, 51% hard hit rate. Really, really good numbers. The launch angle's high. He's putting the ball in the air. The fly ball rate, we like that to be 40%, but the pull rate is above 50%, so that's good. And he's going up against a dong ball pitcher. He's going up against Colton Gordon, who's a lefty. Castellanos doesn't really have amazingly different numbers against righties and lefties, but Colton Gordon gets hit up by righties. As you can see here, home run every 17 or so at bats and red to orange numbers across the board. So I wanted to roll with Casty in this one. And that's all we got. So it's 8 total guys to hit a home run, putting 0.1 units on each of them to risk 0.8 units total. Everything's sent out to my Tails account, which is what you're looking at. But real quick, we can do a recap and get out of here. Trent Grisham, 285. FanDuel, Jazz Chisholm Jr., plus 330. Corey Seager, plus 320. Ohapi, 325. Adele, 350. Wenzel Perez, plus 600. Nick Kurtz, plus 575. And then Castellanos, plus 475 at Fanatics. And then if you only wanted to lock in 3, my 3 favorites would be Grisham, Seager, and Adele. The odds are stinky, but those are my 3 favorite guys if you only wanted to tail 3. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bet responsibly, and have a good one.